this is my roster that I've been doing, okay? And it's got your offensive side of the ball for the 2022 Clemson roster, okay? Houston, you see it?
Mhm.
Basically, I put down anybody in their class. So if you look at it on the offensive side of the ball, they have, well, as a whole, we'll start from there. As a whole, they have 63 scholarships, and that includes the long snapper, which they haven't named yet, I don't think. They have 12 guys that they signed on their national letter of intent. They have 4 commitments that are going to sign, I think, on the 2nd. And they have 1 transfer, which is Hunter Johnson. And then they have 5 open slots. So if you look at quarterback, they have 5 quarterbacks. They have 11 wide receivers there. They have 4 tight ends, which I think that might be a little bit light. I'd like for them to maybe have another tight end in there. And then they have 15 offensive linemen, which Dabo Swinney said he likes it to be around 15. But it looks like on offense, and you can tell me if you agree, Houston, but they've basically, we talk about filling needs, they've basically filled all their needs on offense except for that running back position. They really could go for 2 running backs to finish out the season, to finish out the class, let me say that, not the season. But they have 5 open slots. And of those 2 open slots, from my calculation here on the 2022 class, I'm seeing that they really only have 2 running backs to look for. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, I think the way that's going to finish out on offense is obviously they're going to go all in for Andrew Paul. And I
Mm-hmm.
think, if he commits, that's number one. Either way, I think the reason why Keith Adams Jr. has been offered is, one, he's a legacy guy, hard runner. Everybody knows who Keith Adams is, but I think the reason why he's getting kind of a gray shirt upgrade offer is, it fills out that 85th spot in a position of need. And I think that this is essentially like a walk on getting a scholarship. Instead of giving it to an actual walk on, you're giving it to a gray shirt.
Yeah, I think I think that he would probably be one of those spots, don't you think? And then
Yeah.
I think that the other slot would probably be, I don't know, what do you think, Andrew Paul? But
hmm
here's the thing about Kirby Smart. He goes and visits Clemson, Andrew Paul, that is. He visited Clemson, and then Georgia offers him like the very next day. So if that doesn't make you angry with Kirby Smart, I don't know what will. I mean, how did you feel about that?
I mean, it's not surprising. Like that's what schools like Georgia and Alabama do. They aren't the ones that necessarily generate the leads. They kind of swoop in at the last minute if they want to push somebody out. That's always how it's been. They don't necessarily have to do the legwork on some of these recruits. But with that being said, that works to a certain extent with some prospects. I'm not sure if that'll work with this particular prospect. It could change. We don't know.
Yeah.
He could visit. They could swoop in. But it just, from all indications, at least early on, Clemson's got enough relational capital with C.J. Spiller and his visit last week and Coach Sweeney's visit this week that right now Clemson's sitting in a good spot, even with a late offer from Georgia, who hasn't really been pursuing him much at all until just now.
Now let's go look at the defensive side of the ball, and we got people over on YouTube. Tiger Paul 1979 says, "Thanks for keeping this roster up." Well, I've been doing it for this whole season, so hopefully you appreciate it. And I put it over on Twitter at the Morgan T Show, which is my Twitter handle over there. But I've been keeping it up, and I'm going to make, as you can see down there in the tabs, probably I'm going to make other big boards and other rosters for the next 2023, because what we're planning on doing is starting the 2023 recruiting videos after 2022 is done. So after National Signing Day, around February timeframe, we'll start talking about those 2023 guys, because then it's full force for that class. It's kind of crazy. Football never stops, especially recruiting. But here's the defensive side of the ball with the purple background. You've got a ton of defensive ends now. We were kind of nervous about this one because there was a point where it was questionable whether or not XT, KJ Henry, and Justin Maskell were coming back. And I don't know if Justin Maskell has set his final destination yet. I'm assuming he's staying. But if you look at it now, it looks way better than it did a month ago. You got 8 guys that are going to be on the defensive ends, and then 7 guys on the defensive tackle position. Instead of a situation where you potentially needed 6 to 7 recruits, really now you can get away with 1 for each, a defensive end and defensive tackle, and then go into next year, the 2023 class, hoping for that bigger defensive line class, which they're saying is going to be better. At least all around, because of the juniors class that's coming up and getting a year older. But true freshmen, you got 1 open for defensive end. I think we all assume that'll probably be Lawson there. I think that's one of the next ones. So that is Jaheim Lawson's spot. I wouldn't say it's his spot, but obviously there's 1 open spot there, and he's the main target. And then defensive tackle, somebody put in the chat, what do we think about the Caden Story and the latest on him? Well, that's his spot, in my opinion. Would you agree, Houston?
Yeah, I think right now all indications are Caden Story. We've flipped him, last second flip. The Nick Eason effect, some might say. He just walked into the house, shredded some guitar, and ended up flipping a recruit. And I already love it.
Shredded some guitar. He went there and had church as Caden Story's mom. Now, Caden Story's mom put up a video of her and the son and Nick Eason doing the slide on campus. Now, Nick Eason face planted at the end of the slide. Did you see that?
Yeah, he's got to get used to. I don't blame him for that. I mean, he probably hasn't made it. Probably hasn't made it in the facility that much since Dabo World came open.
Well, he face planted, so he's got to get a little bit smoother on the slide there. But I think that Clemson has a great shot for Caden Story based on what I'm seeing on Twitter. Now, I don't know anything else. I kind of backed away from looking at these sites, but I have seen on Twitter a ton of good news, in my opinion. From when you have mama posting positive things, that's always a good sign. I think that's actually the best sign, to be honest with you. And then you got the rest of the class. Look at it. Cornerback and safety have been filled out. They're those 3 open spots. They're closed up, baby. Filled. Jaden Lucas, Toriano Pride, Miles Oliver, Sherrod Colville, and Colin Griffin, who we'll talk about hopefully tonight. Those filled as well. Really, the last one there, 1 more linebacker available. So remember how I said 2 running backs? That's 2 out of 5. Defensive end, defensive tackle, linebacker. That's the 3 left. So that could be your 85 guys without even having any walk-ons. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. But what I will say is that it all indications for the linebacker is that T.J. Dudley is the big target there for that particular spot. So I know we did a video on T.J. Dudley. We like him. We know that he was originally committed to Oregon before Cristobal left, and then he opened his commitment back up. But he is from Alabama. Get this. He has a teammate, and his teammate is Colin Griffin. So there you go. Everything, the wheels are in motion. That's all I'm saying.